we did? It was all a distraction. While I was talking to Cuba, we faked it out. We faked out Fidel Castro, and we destabilized them. We destabilized them. We are going to ruin TCU by putting 800% tariffs on them. 800%. They're going to be cooked. Now you go down. This is a good one. This is a good one right here. Enforcing the Constitution. Now that Vertage has actually done his job and is getting the Constitution, and the Supreme Court's at work, the Constitution is going to be reformed. The Constitution could be better. It could be worse. We don't know. We don't know yet. So we gotta look out. We gotta look out for the Constitution. But for right now, it seems like Vertage is doing a great job. I'm looking forward to the Constitution reforms. However, even currently, my administration, the Koch party, we want to enforce the Constitution. We support the Constitution. Unseen by Pepsi Party. Pepsi Party, they don't support the Constitution. They just want reforms. You know, the Pepsi Party in their manifesto, they talk about removing Vertage. They talk about term limits for the Chief Justice and the Supreme Court. Who the hell makes these rules up? Who the hell does Koch Party think they are? Pepsi Party think they are? It's disgusting. It really is. It's disgusting. Moving on. Number 5. Funding Liberty Media. Let me say, great pick by Vertage to put Mr. Person as the head of Liberty Media. Really, really, I love Mr. Person. Me and Mr. Person were very close, so I gotta say, great idea. And matter of fact, to help Mr. Person out, we will be funding Liberty Media. We will be funding Liberty Media to the extent, the max that we can, because I love Liberty Media and I love Mr. Person. What greatness is going to come out of this? Now, if you go back up, our number one, ready? Who would expect? Building the wall. We got to build the wall. For too long has TCU invaders, Buns invaders from all foreign nations come to our great nation, seeking employment, seeking to destroy us from the inside. Well, let me tell you. You want to know why this is? Because they're joining Pepsi. They're joining Pepsi Party. TCU has immigrated. They have immigrated a bunch of people into the Pepsi Party because they know we're gonna win. They said Donald Trump, you're winning. You're winning too hard. You're winning too much. We have to rig the election. Join Pepsi Party. Let me tell you. I have somebody in TCU, and they told me, they said, join Pepsi Party. We gotta join Pepsi Party. Coke is gonna win. Ooh, Coke is gonna win. Join Pepsi Party. We have to join Pepsi Party to defund Coke. Let Coke loose. Well, let me tell you, we're too big to rig. We're way too big to rig, and we're not gonna give up. That's one thing. We're not gonna give up. Ever. We're never gonna give up. That's why we're gonna build a wall. It's gonna work similarly to TCU's border. But however, we're gonna build a wall, and we're gonna reform the Bureau of Customsmen to prevent these immigrants, these foreign immigrants, these aliens from joining URM. So that's something on the table that we're gonna look at. And then last thing we're gonna talk about. Again, you guys can go over and read the Patriot Act more in depth. However, the last thing we're gonna talk about for right now, the manifesto, is the creation of the Mainland Security. When I was vice president, I'd like to thank Bush. Bush, thank you very much. Bush proposed the legislation to create the Mainland Security. And I remember signing that. Right now, we're just waiting on Vertage and the rest of the Supreme Court to pass it and endorse it. But however, we are looking forward to a Mainland Security for domestic security reasons, anti-corruption, and to strengthen URM. This is great legislation. This is great legislation, and we're gonna get it done. Trust me, we're gonna get it done. All right, moving on. So this is it. This is it for the Patriot Manifesto. If you have any questions, suggestions to the manifesto, if you have anything you want me to work on, you have anything you want me to put in there, contact me. Remember, this is for the Patriot Manifesto is for the people, for the Patriots of URM, and I'm open to adding whatever problems you guys have or reforms you guys want. And you can tell Pepsi that. You can even tell Pepsi that. All right. So moving on from the Patriot Manifesto and the manifestos, I'll be answering questions. Let me put it this way. URM related questions. Do not ask me about Brazilians, and definitely do not ask me about eating crayons. But we'll move on to any questions URM related. Just raise your hand. Raise your hand.
Question. May I?
Go ahead. Ask a question. Go ahead.
As a forum to prevent immigrants from swimming across the river, ocean, whatever the fuck this body of water is, should we put sharks in the water to eat them?
Let me tell you, that's a great question. That is a great question. I love sharks. Sharks. Who heard the new Jelly Roll song? Who heard that new Jelly Roll song? It's great. Let me tell you. This is a job for the Navy. All right. The Navy needs to step up their game as well. I'm not gonna put sharks in the water only because when RUM citizens want to swim in the water. They want to swim in the water. We can't risk them getting eaten by sharks. However, we're gonna give Navy a new job. Who knows the Coast Guard? Who knows the Coast Guard? Who knows the Coast Guard? We're gonna give Navy permissions of the Coast Guard to do operations offshore and prevent these immigrants from swimming across. That's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna also have some reform on the Navy as well. Thank you for a question. Great question, by the way. Great question. So number one, devs get paid, please. Weren't you VT during Melvin's time? VP. Yes. So that's a great thing. Devs getting paid. Listen, that's out of my pay grade. That's out of any president's pay grade. When I was vice president with Melvin, we actually tried to talk about this, and we recommended it. Actually, this is a question you need to ask for Taj and maybe Mills, because this is just out of our pay grade, honestly. If I could do it, listen, if I could do it, I would. I really would. But we brought this up before, and it was a no-go. Mills didn't like it. Nobody liked it, and it never got passed. That's a big thing. That's a big thing. So I wish we could, but it's probably not going to happen, unfortunately. I'll be honest, it's probably not going to happen. Will we make the Federal Reserve? Kennedy, that's a great question. The Federal Reserve. Let me tell you, the Federal Reserve, it'd be too controversial. It would be too controversial. It really would. It would be way too controversial. And that's the thing I like. I like it being controversial. Because guess what? The Federal Reserve would drain the swamp. It would kill. That's the grounds to it. It would kill. So right now, probably not. We're probably not going to get the Federal Reserve. We're probably not. Only because of how controversial it is, and I know with how Pepsi's acting and every other party's acting, they're not going to support it. They really want it. Anything to make me lose. They're going to the extreme to make me lose. The extreme. How will we handle gang violence? Let me tell you, Eat Meek. Great question. And actually, hold on. The assistant chief of police is here, and I've talked to him. Cookie Master. I've talked to the assistant chief of police, Cookie Master. We're funding the police. We're funding the police. The police are going to get 500% more funding. We have to back the blue. Let me tell you something. Coke Party backs the blue. We love our brothers in arms. We love the police, and we love what they're doing. 100%, we will be funding them. 100%, no doubt about it. So, great question. I've gotten word. Listen, I've gotten word. This is for Cookie Master directly. We will be implementing police cars soon. I've talked to some devs. Some devs have showed me police cars might be coming. And that's going to be huge. That's going to be huge for the police force. This is what I'm talking about when we're funding them. They're going to be in the game. And it's going to be great. It's going to be very great. Would you consider making an illegal posting channel? So that's very controversial questions. Thank you, Kennedy, for the controversial questions. Let me tell you, my opponent, that boy, has tried to pass legislation called I forget what it is because it's so stupid. It's so stupid. You would be like, if you saw it, you'd be like, what the hell is he talking about? Who the hell is this guy? of the freedom where you reach level 80 and you get to say whatever you want. Terrible idea. Let me tell you what. There's trolls. URM has a bunch of trolls, nasty trolls, and I know for a fact one thing is they would abuse this. So having a channel dedicated to illegal activity, probably not a good idea. We don't want to get shut down by Discord. Discord is the most tyrannical organization, and we don't want to be shut down for the sake of URM. If we were to be shut down, it'd be terrible. So let's not try to get Discord involved. Why are you stopping a nation of refugees from receiving refugee hoping for a free and better life away from communism? Alright, so that's a great question. Refugees aren't the issue. It's illegals. Refugees, they can get legal. However, they have to go through the processes. The proper processes of getting legal. That's the thing. I don't have problems with refugees. I have problems with illegals. Because guess what? Illegals can be spies, TCU spies, they can be communist spies. It's dangerous. It is dangerous. Even if refugees are illegals, they have to go through the proper processes. They have to want to get legalized. They have to want to become a URM citizen, and they have to apply themselves. That's what I'm trying to get. They have to apply themselves to become a URM citizen, because it is a right to be a URM citizen. It is a freedom to be a URM citizen. Now let me tell you something. We're coming down to the wire right here because Pepsi supports the illegal immigrations. They support the aliens because the aliens support them. However, I'm gonna be honest. Do you guys want TCU spies taking your positions, taking your jobs, voting candidates you don't want voted? None of us want that. So that's why we have to stop it. We have to stop it ASAP. Continue the nuclear program, 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 continue the... Great question by Jet. We will be supporting nuclear facilities, nuclear programs. Actually, we will be hiring new nuclear scientists. We need more nukes. TCU, they're getting dangerous out here. Do you see what TCU posts in the commie telegram? They post outrageous things. Like, what did they try this new yoga pose? What is that supposed to mean? What is that supposed to mean? Why are they trying to teach us new yoga poses? I think it's a little fishy, and I know they're trying to sneak one by us. So we will definitely increase the nuclear programs. We will fund science in these nuclear programs and enhance our nuclear programs for sure. That is something we're looking forward to doing. By Riot Soldier, would you consider changing the Constitution? Well, fortunately, thank you for the question. We already, Vertage and the Supreme Court are already working on that. So that is, when I become president, I'd love to be a part of probably helping reform it or adding suggestions. But currently, Vertage is working on that. So yes, I do like to see the reforms that Vertage has going, and I hope they're great. And I know they're going to be great. Matter of fact, so yes, let's continue on this journey to get this Constitution reform. It's been needing reform. I remember when I was vice president, I used to be pissed on how bad the freaking Constitution was. So let's definitely get it reformed here. Mr. Person, please. I see you joined. Come speak, Mr. Person.
Yo, I was just like doing most of my work for my parents, but what's up?
We were just talking about you. We're talking about funding Liberty Media. Congrats on your promotion to the being the head of Liberty Media, by the way. Very huge.
I'm also the reform leader as well. So you guys are gonna expect like some like big changes in Liberty Media. So yeah, there's that.
We love that. We were just talking about how much we want Liberty Media. Actually, in the Patriot Manifesto, we support and fund Liberty Media for its reform. So great to hear it firsthand by the head of Liberty Media. Thank you very much. Any more questions?
Yeah.
Any more questions
DM
from
me
people on the
later, by
ground?
the way, for your office, Mr. Person. Just DM me later for your office, because we need to do that.
Wait, what? I couldn't hear you because of the microphone quality.
Well, we need to get your office, since Kai isn't here anymore. Kai's office is not your office, so just give me a list of things you'd want.
I guess you can like add the Serbian flag, and also
Okay,
probably add a bunch of guns.
Just give me the list later. Just give me the list later. Sorry.
All right. That's okay. I'm gonna add just like these simple things, and that's all.
All right, so I hate to cut you guys off. Thank you very much, Mr. Person, for coming to speak. Uh, again, congrats on your promotion. Thank you for the reforms. Just know, Coke Party, I definitely back you. We back you. So now that we're coming down on the last little bit I have here at the Coke National Convention. However, I'll answer like one or two more questions. Mike Kennedy says, "Do you believe in deregulation of business?" Let me tell you, when I ran with Melvin, this exact question came up. And let me tell you, I'm going to say the same thing I did then because it's still the same as it is now. Deregulating business is how we encourage business. It's how we fund and make a backbone for URM. It's how we support the middle class. It's how we allow the poor to get richer. Let me tell you something. Deregulating businesses will allow economic growth, and that is what we're looking for, especially since the IRS is actually starting to allow businesses and businesses are actually becoming a thing again. It would be great to have more businesses, especially from regular URM citizens being made. So that is a great question, Mike Kennedy. Thank you very much for that question. And yes, we will. Simple answer: yes, we will be deregulating businesses. Secretary Bush. I actually don't know who that person is, so I don't know if I can pardon them. It says unknown user. Yeah, it says unknown user, so I don't know who. Oh my gosh, my chair. Let me tell you. First thing I'm doing as president, I'm getting a new chair because my chair keeps breaking. I'm sitting in a office, not even an office chair. It's a metal chair that's terrible. It's a terrible metal chair. This is what happens when they remove me as vice president. They gave me a shitty chair that keeps breaking. I'm busting my ass on my chair every time it breaks. What a shitty chair. So that's the first thing I'm going to do as president is invest in an office chair. I'm busting my ass on this office chair. It keeps breaking. It's terrible. It's a terrible chair. I'll send you guys pictures. It's a terrible chair. Johnny Valkyrie, will you declare war on the teapot? Let me tell you. The teapots, that is a topic. That is a sensitive topic. Because let me tell you, my opponent, Pepsi Party, they try to make Coke Party look bad. You know, they try to call us the CCP. What? They try to call us the C. You know what? Let me tell you something. Pepsi Party, they're called the PPs. Pepsi Party is called the PPs. They are literally called the PPs. So let me tell you something. The CCP or the PP, which one are you going for? Are you going for the PP or the CCP? Because we're not even called Coca-Cola Party anymore. That's the funny thing is he says anything to grab the attention because guess what? He's hungry for attention. He's hungry for attention. He just talks and talks and talks. And he doesn't go anywhere. He's like a chicken with its head cut off. He just talks. He just talks about nothing. Honestly, each and every single one of you could talk to a brick wall and get more information about how the brick is being made than listening to that boy talk. I would seriously rather talk to a cricket than talk to that boy. I swear, I put it on God. I put it on the Jesus H. Christ. Talking to a cricket would be a better debate than talking to that boy because it's ridiculous what that boy tries to tell me about. It's really insane. And let me say, that boy and his running mate have a terrible track record in URM. A terrible track record. They talk about the most outrageous things. Have you guys seen what Saint Nick talks about? Talks about eating ass. Saint Nick talks about eating ass. And there's proof of it. Let me tell you, it's outrageous. They talk about outrageous things. And let me tell you, they're going. If you guys want Mimi Ward 3, it's gonna happen because let me tell you, they're gonna. If they're sitting in the Oval, if they're sitting in the office and they're talking to Noob Lord, you know what he's gonna be like? Noob Lord, let me eat your ass. That is what Saint Nick word for word is going to say. He's gonna be like Noob Lord. I don't want a Mimi Ward 3. Let me eat your ass, Noob Lord. Let me eat your ass. And it's disgusting. It is actually disgusting. That is something that we cannot have in URM, and that is something we will prevent. We don't want war, but let me tell you, Noob Lord and that boy with the way they're speaking, and the way they're speaking, it's outrageous. It really is outrageous, and it might not seem like an issue, but let me tell you, it's gonna be an issue in the long run, especially if they win the presidential race. It's gonna be terrible. All right, we're coming
Uh,
down. Go ahead, Mr. Person. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like I won't lie. As my time as a presidential candidate, like the internal one, because I keep running every single election. I won't lie. Every single person has like won like the presidential elections. They just like drop from the grave like dead ass. Like they only last like 2 weeks, like 1 week, and that's probably the biggest problem. And I hope that it's actually fixed. Not gonna lie, like our like staff needs to lock in for that for real.
Let me say, Pepsi rats. They're digging themselves a grave. Okay, listen. No matter, even for the Pepsi people that are in here, let me tell you something. Pepsi is digging their own grave. Pepsi Party might have the numbers internally. They might have 80 members, but let me tell you, it all depends on the vote. It all depends on your guys' vote, and that is exactly what matters the most. You don't have to be, and this is what I'm going to end off with. You don't have to be a victim to a party. You don't have to be. You don't have to identify with identity politics. Because I'll be honest here. I was going to run as an independent candidate. I really was, and let that be known. I was going to run as an independent candidate. However, when it came down to it most, Coke Party is the only party that actually has sense. They're the only party that actually wants better for URM. It's true. It really is true. I'm not speaking because I'm endorsed by them. I'm speaking truthfully. Order, balance, and conservatism is the hallmarks of URM, and that is what we need. We do.
Why do you
we
think?
don't.
Wait, oh, my bad. You can continue. My bad.
There's nothing wrong with reform. However, trying to reform our government, and especially in their manifesto, I'm not speaking crazy here. You can even go look it up. In their manifesto, they're trying to reform the government by getting rid of, making term limits for the chief justices, getting term limits for the Supreme Court. That will never work. They have a fever dream. It's fake, and they're lying. Let me tell you something. Everything that Coke Party and my administration have put in the Patriot Manifesto are actually doable. So when you're voting, vote for something that is doable. Don't vote because you think, oh, that boy is so good, he talks, he's so funny. It doesn't matter how funny it is, because guess what? He's talking out his ass. He has no plans. Making term limits on chief justices, making term limits on the Supreme Court, trying to make term limits on even, let me tell you, they think that the hexagon should be term limit, like the hexagon should be appointed by the president, and it's crazy, because that would never happen. It's false promises. So remember to vote for actual change. If you want actual change, vote for actual change. Don't vote because they say they're going to change stuff that they know they can't. And Bertaj is probably sitting in his chair laughing right now because he knows it's never going to happen. So if you seriously want change, you actually need to vote for change. On a serious note, you need to vote for change. That weirdo and weird Saint Nicholas, they're not gonna fulfill any of their promises, guys. It's the truth. They're not gonna fulfill their promises because they actually don't have no promises. They're running on a false ticket. Truly. All right, so I even tried to get Coke Party, either Dat Boy or Saint Nick, or even somebody from Coke Party to come over here and debate me. Again, they're ducking the debate. They don't want to debate with me. They've seen the previous debates and they're scared. But let me tell you, they're not gonna run for too long. They're not gonna run. I'm gonna catch up to them, and I will get them. Just like how the Bureau of Customs are gonna catch these illegal aliens. I'm gonna catch them. Supposedly Sunday's the presidential debate. We're gonna catch them at the debate, and I want all of you guys to remember one thing at this debate, and I'm gonna tell you now because I'm predicting it. We're gonna have a Jace the Mage Part 2. We will have a Jace the Mage Part 2. They're gonna get so heated. They're gonna get so cooked. I'm telling you, Saint Nick is gonna break his mic. He's gonna scream so loud he's gonna break his mic, just like Jace the Mage did. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna ruin them. Really, we're gonna ruin them. And that is exactly what I'm planning to do. However, does anybody want to come up and speak? How to put name? Would you like to come up and speak?
Yeah, well, I don't have too much to say, but I endorse Johnny because he's the only good candidate. He's the best choice. He's the only one who's going to do real stuff and real shit and get stuff done and not going to get impeached in like a week, unlike the other candidate, St. Nick. So anyways, yeah, I don't have much else to say. Thank you. And vote Johnny.
Thank you. Let me say, this is I know I said I was going to end off on the last thing, but my track record has to be put out there. When I left, what was it ago? Like 3 months ago, 2 months ago, I left because a genuine problem. I had to go to boot camp. That is something that needs to be known. I didn't leave URM because I wanted to. I had to leave because I went to boot camp. And now that I'm back, I promise URM I will stick around, be active, fix URM, make actual reforms, make actual change. And this is something I will dedicate to. This is something I will dedicate myself to. I've served as vice president before, and let me tell you something. Melvin himself, RIP him. He's dead. He's gone. He was
The CMI took him out.
terrible thing that happened to Melvin. However, Melvin himself, if I know you guys loved Melvin for what until you know the thing went down. I know you guys supported Melvin. However, Melvin himself told me that I was the best vice president he could have picked. And let me tell you something, that comes a lot because Melvin was very popular. He was endorsed by Mills. So I take that very, very, I take that to my soul, to my heart. So I thank Melvin a lot. And I wish he could be here right now. R.I.P. Melvin. He's at the hospital. Yep, very bad. Like Eek Meep said, he suffered a heart attack because the CMIA scared him so bad trying to kill him. It's very sad what happened to Melvin. But I think we're gonna end off here. Thank you for all the questions. I hope I reached some of you guys. I hope you guys read over the Patriot Manifesto some more. I hope it supports you. I hope you guys change your mind. If you're still wanting to vote Pepsi, go ahead. Let me tell you, there's nothing wrong. You have the voice. You have the power to change URM. It's all up to you guys. But I hope. If there's one thing you guys took away from this, is that actual change will be made with Koch Party. Actual change will be made under my administration, and that is the only thing we're striving for, to actually fix URM and make actual problems and solutions, prevent actual problems and make actual solutions. If my vice president, my campaign partner, would like Jeff, if you would like to say anything. Jeff, would you like to say anything?
Sleepy Jeff, wake up.
And that's another thing. We're gonna get a lot of legislation signed. Trust me, we will get a lot of legislation signed. Under Sleepy Toucan, in his whole administration, from the time he was elected to the time he left, or when he was made president to the time he left, he signed only 10 legislation. When I was vice president and me, Melvin, and President Melvin were in office, we signed over 20 in our first week. There's so much legislation we signed. Vertage is still trying to enact it into law. So let me tell you, legislation, the government, we will be active. The government will be active. I will be making the government active, making them make legislation. And trust me, the Supreme Court's going to get active too. They'll be so active that they'll have no time to even host trials. They'll just be focusing on legislation. It's going to be so much legislation.
Yep.
However, I think we're going to end it off there. It's 2:57 p.m. where I'm at. I had an hour to come up here and host the Coke National Convention. I'd like to thank Pluto for allowing me to host the Coke National Convention. I also like to thank her and Lemons for allowing me to be their candidate. And I'd like to do another thank you to Vertage for hosting this, letting us host this. It's been we peaked around 18. Was it 18 or 12? It was around 12. It was 21 people overall. So that's pretty good audience. That's a pretty good audience. If you know Coke, if anybody can get refer everything I said or talk to the Pepsi people, that'd be great. Because Pepsi needs to know. And let Pepsi know one thing is I tried to debate them. I tried to debate Pepsi. I even pinged that boy so we can have a debate, and they ducked it. So remember, they're ducking the fade. They're ducking the fades, and they're not gonna duck the fade too much longer because I'm gonna serve them one up on presidential election at the presidential debate. But thank you for everybody for tuning in. This is a great start for the first Coke National Convention. Truly. I will also be posting the Patriot Manifesto in general chat so you guys can read over it some more. And again, if you have any suggestions to the Patriot Manifesto, or if you have anything that you directly want me to talk about at the presidential debate, let me know. My DMs are always open for questions, and I will definitely see what I can do to get whatever reform you want into our manifesto. Last question. If you won the election, with which people will you reform your cabinet? So, I got 1 minute, so I'm gonna try to be quick. We have a cabinet already picked out. However, the cabinet right now, obviously things can change. People might, some people are unreliable. We actually had somebody. We have a cabinet position. We actually had somebody open up a cabinet position. So we're always open to putting people in their specialty. So, like for instance, we need a Secretary of War. I will be looking extensively at people with an illustrious, meritorious military career to help serve as my Secretary of War. So I want people with with their specialties. I want people with merit. I want people who actually know what they're doing in these positions, and that is exactly what my administration and my cabinet is going to be formed up on. People who actually know what they're doing, and people who actually have experience in the field that they're working in. So that's a great question, Vlad. Thank you for that question. It is 3 p.m., so we're going to end it off here. Thank you, everybody, again for tuning in. This is a great Coke National Convention first start. And one last thing. If we will be hosting more VC rallies. You don't even have to be part of Coke Party. Just join Coke Party so you can hear me talk some more and ask me some more questions. So join Coke Party to begin joining some more of our rallies. Thank you very much. Have a great day, everybody, or night, wherever you're at, and thank you for tuning in.
Yo, last message. Fuck Sillyvale. Fuck them, bro.
True.
Yeah, fuck Sillyvale. Y'all need to type this in the chat. F Sillyvale, bro.
I have a question to everyone. How many Tuas can a hawk Tua?
Many.
The answer may shock you.
What's the answer?
The answer is, to answer how many Tuas can a hawk Tua, it's as many Tuas as a hawk can hawk Tua.
Yeah, that does shock me.
I should do a dev stream, maybe. What time is that? Nah, I might have to dev halfway for it, I'm just gonna take the Steelers shit by myself.
Yeah, well, anyways, bye, guys.
Yo, low key, I won't lie. As like the head of Liberty Media, you guys are gonna expect some like big changes. So watch out for that. And I have a quiet of. As I was saying, right? Yeah, there is a lot of things to be catching up to do, mainly with applications, time zones, not time zones, but like applications, newspapers, server management, all that stuff. And if anyone has any questions on what they want to be fixed, like what they want for like Liberty Media, or like any kind of like help or something, you guys can DM me or ping me or whatever. So yeah, or make changes, just making LM act. Well, basically for that, Dr. Gray, it is about making Liberty Media active, but also making Liberty Media possible to stay active and to stay efficient at its job in the most best way possible. So we don't have like any kind of like inactivities. We don't have like kind of like some like how I say is broken procedures, or like very terrible ones of that. Or we don't need to have like very, how do I say this, we need to have like a lot more people working for it, because currently for Liberty Media we have around like 30 people